OSHA says roughly 2 million construction workers are exposed to crystalline silica, which is not surprising because it's a very common mineral. But exposure to the dust can lead to serious medical issues if exposure is not limited. Because of this, OSHA created the Occupational Exposure to Respirable Crystalline Silica rule for construction, which helps protect construction workers like you from the dangers of crystalline silica dust. While much of the rule is geared toward your employer's responsibilities, it should be a shared responsibility between you and your employer, because frankly, no one should be more concerned or held more accountable for your own safety than you are. This training program is designed to help you protect yourself from crystalline silica exposure. And after completing this program, you will be able to recognize workplace tasks that could result in exposure to crystalline silica dust and identify health hazards it can cause. You'll be able to recall the various methods of communicating crystalline silica hazards, including labels, safety data sheets, and signs. Also, you'll be able to apply exposure control measures to protect yourself from the effects of crystalline silica dust and discuss the role a competent person plays in controlling exposure. And finally, you'll be able to explain the purpose of OSHA's required medical surveillance program. Crystalline silica is a component of sand, stone, rock, concrete, brick, block, and mortar. This common mineral is found in roads, buildings, and sidewalks. Being in the construction industry, you probably participate in some pretty high-energy activities every day. Sandblasting to remove paint and rust from stone buildings, metal bridges, tanks, and other surfaces causes the most severe crystalline silica exposures. Other jobs that can produce the harmful dust include jackhammering, concrete mixing, drilling, brick and concrete cutting, or tunneling, just to name a few. What you might not know is, these everyday tasks can produce tiny crystalline silica particles that are 100 times smaller than a grain of sand, which makes them incredibly easy to inhale if you're not careful. Unless your exposure to crystalline silica remains below 25 micrograms per cubic meter of air as an 8-hour time-weighted average, exposure controls are necessary. OSHA's Table 1 identifies 18 common construction tools and tasks that create high exposures to respirable crystalline silica. Next to each task, OSHA indicates how to effectively protect yourself using engineering controls, work practices, and respiratory protection. In this example, when you use a jackhammer or handheld powered chipping tool on materials that contain crystalline silica, you should either use a tool equipped with a water delivery system that supplies a continuous stream or spray of water at the point of impact, limiting the amount of dust generated, or use a tool equipped with a commercially available shroud and dust collection system. If you choose to use a tool equipped with a water delivery system, your employer must ensure the water flows at a rate that will minimize the release of visible dust. When you use a jackhammer or powered chipping tool outdoors for 4 hours or less, you do not need respiratory protection. However, if you use it outside for more than 4 hours, or indoors or in an enclosed area, you'll need to use a respirator with an assigned protection factor of at least 10. Information gained through medical surveillance can help workers who are exposed to respirable crystalline silica make decisions concerning their overall health. The purpose of medical surveillance is to identify adverse health effects associated with exposure so that appropriate actions can be taken. It also helps determine if a worker has any pre-existing conditions that might make him more sensitive to exposure. And it helps determine the worker's fitness to use respirators. Your company must offer you a medical exam free of charge if you are required to use respiratory protection for 30 or more days per year. The medical exam will be performed by a physician or other licensed healthcare professional at a reasonable time and place. An initial or baseline exam with emphasis on the respiratory system must occur within 30 days after your initial assignment. This exam will consist of a medical and work history review, a physical exam and chest X-ray, a pulmonary function test, and testing for latent tuberculosis infection. It will also include any other tests deemed appropriate by the physician. As you can see, the dangers of crystalline silica are very real. This is why both you and your company must work together to ensure everyone's safety on the job site. By understanding what crystalline silica is, being aware of its potential hazards, and taking action to avoid exposure, you're doing your part to protect yourself from it each and every day.